thank you, Christian, for being with us for this new series of the Mid-Century Home Talks. As you already know, we are going to have several companies in preparation for the Salone del Mobile, which we are going to cover in September. And of course, we couldn't miss Fritz Hansen. So we are very, very happy that you could make it.
Thank you.
So welcome.
Thank you.
So you've been working for Fritz Hansen for 5 years now. You are the design and brand ambassador, and so you represent the company with the award. But I was wondering, why did you choose Fritz Hansen in the first place?
Yeah, interesting question. I spent 25, 30 years being in the design industry. I'm an industrial designer by trade. And I started working with design with a big design company in Copenhagen many years ago. Switched to a big architect company where I was head of design for 10 years. And then, it was like going full loop back to where it all started because I studied furniture design and industrial design at the design school. And when this job was up for offer, I applied. And we had some really good conversations on starting this job up. Fritz Hansen is among the probably the most recognized Scandinavian design brands, and it's of course a big task to take over that role. A huge opportunity for any design lead to go to a company like that.
Well, it sounds like the perfect match then, because a fan that becomes head of design and then brand ambassador, I mean, it sounds really nice. And of course, as you mentioned, Fritz Hansen, it exists for over 150 years. So when these companies exist for so long, I suppose there is a risk to rest on your laurels with the product, with innovation and so forth. Yeah. And so I always wondered, how do you stay relevant, especially today?
I think it's the core of what the design department in Fritz Hansen does and have done for a long time. Like ours have these waves through time, and our only tool in the toolbox is to keep that relevant in time topic alive in the discussions in the design department all the time. That dynamic creates a constant focus on the heritage products, and they need to still be kind of part of the environment where they can live together with the new products and live in people's homes, because nobody has a Fritz Hansen home. You have a piece or you have several pieces because they serve a function in your home. We are very keen on surfaces, and we are very keen on color, and we do it with color together with artists and designers. So we keep reinterpreting and reinventing our products.
Yeah, I think that's key, and I see that as a trend in the industry as well. When companies has important products and designs from the past, that usually is the case indeed. And talking about products, I mean, in the last 5 years, you've probably seen many collections and many products that came out, right? I cannot even imagine how many they are. But I
can tell you.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah. A lot. We had a strategy. When I came to Fritz Hansen, there was also a shift in strategy for Fritz Hansen. And that was to be a little bit more international, or try to be a little bit more international, keeping our kind of core Nordic design DNA. And for that, we had to develop a number of products. We did an accessories line. We took over a light company called Light Years and transformed that into Fritz Hansen Light. And that was quite a shift from 10 to 5 years ago, where the focus was on trying to maintain the classics and trying to make some contract products.
Within all these tens of products, do you have one that you like the most, or you are most proud of?
It's like asking which of your kids you love the most.
I know. That's what I'm asking.
Yes, no, I'm actually quite proud of some of the lounge chair products that we made in the last couple of years. I think the Fred chair together with Jaime Hayon, the wooden chair with the small pillows in it, is kind of the epitome of what Fritz Hansen was in the 50s and 60s, and that style that we were a little bit dangerous of, that got pushed down by Jacobsen because it was so sculptural. We had some beautiful wooden products with cushions in them in the 40s and 50s, and they all went out of manufacturing. So it was like to try to pay homage to that kind of maybe late 40s, just after the war, the modern, contemporary home. We tried to put into to the Fredchair, and I actually think it went really well. It's sculptural. It's definitely Jaime. It's if you look in our early history, it's definitely also Fritz Hansen. So a unique product in my book.
Yeah, and that's interesting actually that you mentioned some of the designers, the young designers you work with, like Hayon or Arne and many others. And I always wondered, when you have such a history like Fritz Hansen, so you have to keep the balance, like you also mentioned. But you have to find also the right fit. You have to find the right designers. It's not only about the name, of course. So
no.
I suppose you look for some similarities within the past and the masters of design of the past and today and contemporary designers. And what do you think the designers, for example, you mentioned, have in common with the masters?
We tend to see them as house designers, but also designers that to some extent knows our history, has a certain dialogue with the former designers and our design DNA, which is partly functional, partly rational, and partly emotional, so to speak. And that is because the functional part is we want to make great quality. We want to make products that last a lifetime. We want rational, meaning that we don't want to use resources more than we need to, and we need to produce rationally. And emotionally, we need to take care of our heritage and our design DNA and pick designers that understand that DNA. So it's more than just it's not their design talent. We are not interested in what they did before. We are interested in their core DNA, almost as an artist more than as a designer. And that's how we work with the designers.
That's interesting, because there is a sort of like going back to also the how do you say, like the materiality side of the work. So artists that are actually able to work with materials. Hayon also is a very talented painter, for what I saw. I saw beautiful, impressive paintings. I was reading an interview with him a few weeks ago where he was explaining why painting is so important for him and for
and he started painting during the pandemic here, and he made these. I got a mail from him the other day where he was in his workshop, and they are huge. They are 2 by 3 meters, and you can just, it's something that is in him. And that way of his way of painting is also his way of designing, and that's why the sculptural part becomes part of his process. And it works really well when you sort of click with the designer's sort of artistic DNA.
Yeah. And so I mean, there is a component of course, creativity here. I mean, obviously, and material way of approaching the design of the process, right? The design process. However, you have to mass produce furniture at the same time. So how do you combine this, let's say, the creativity, the creativity freedom and the high standard quality with mass production? How does that happen?
And it depends on definition of mass production, because most of the things that we do, of the very exquisite parts and the very sort of high-end products that we do, or premium products that we do, are still made by hand. And numbers are numbers, but we sell 2,000 eggs a year, so it's not many. It's 3 or 4 a day. So it is of course mass manufacturing in the way that the technical part of the product is mass manufactured, but the finishing of the product is by hand. And that goes for eggs, swans, all the care hunt products. They are made by hand at the end. And that's also why our products cost a little bit more than many other products, because they are still hand assembled or handmade.
I want to close asking you something about the last year and a half. I mean, we have been living a very special part of our lives that, of course, no one will ever forget. And thankfully, it looks like we are getting out of it. So that's good news, very exciting. But during this year, there's been a lot of talking about the homes, architecture, but mostly about interiors and how people leave their homes for the obvious reasons. People start living their entire days at home, exercising, working, cooking, studying, whatever. And so I was curious, from your point of view, which are the trends that emerged during this period that you think are here to stay also?
I think there is a few. Of course, the overarching one is that we all had to work from home, and to some extent. And we in Fritz Hansen have had for many years, and I think the industry in general, many industries in general, have been interested in people coming to the company to innovate, to be together, because that's where the innovation, the uniqueness of whatever you do, if it's medicine or furniture, comes alive. And I think we have learned that is difficult in a time like this. So I think that people have new sets of eyes on what it means to work at home, and that will create I think a little bit of an interior trend where the workplace sort of needs to be an integral part of your home. Probably you do some of your tasks at home, and then you meet people, you come to work to meet people and to do the, let's say, collaboration work, because that is hard like this.
Unfortunately, for now we don't have time anymore. So I will say thank you, and I hope to see you soon again. And please, let's stay in touch. And thank you for your time today.
Anytime.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.